Metalheads, welcome in. It is First Look. I'm your host, Steve Buzzard, and this is a special edition as it's concert review time for the Red Hot Chili Peppers. That's right. I know they're not heavy metal, but you know what? They're iconic, and I think they are definitely worthy of a concert review. Had an opportunity to see them at Toyota Amphitheater along with my sons, Toph and Max. It was the fourth time that we have seen them together, and I have to tell you, this was a great concert. Let me tell you about the lineup. I mean, they played 18 songs, 2 coming out on the encore. Love the encore, but they kicked it off with an intro jam. Like it was just a jam. You're like, what song are they going to go into? What song are they going to go into? And eventually, after about 3.5 minutes of jamming on their instruments, before Anthony Kiedis came out, they then dropped into Danny California. And it was absolutely perfect. And then moved into Scar Tissue. Good back-to-back songs to get the set started. And then what I liked about it is they went everywhere. Like we got all facets of what Red Hot Chili Peppers is all about. I don't know how much of a fan you are, and if you listen to heavy metal, I almost think you have to constitute or have to put Red Hot Chili Peppers in there, because when you listen to Anthony Kiedis, yeah, he's got a lot of songs that he is very melodic, but boy, he can bring it. He used to bring it in the old days, and we got a little bit of that. They followed up with Aquatic Mouth Dance, Universally Speaking, Other Side, which is a great song, followed by Eddie, Don't Forget Me, Soul to Squeeze, Right on Time, which was pretty cool because they did a intro to the Clash's London Calling. And then we got Tip of My Tongue, Suck My Kiss, Tell Me Baby, Californication, Black Summer, and by the way, you thought it was all over? Of course not. They're going to have an encore. So what are they going to play? Their final 2 songs. So they came out to Under the Bridge and then finish it out with the iconic Red Hot Chili Pepper song, Give It Away. All right, so I mean, this was a great concert. It was a 9.5, and I'll tell you why it was not a 10, okay? And that was because the opening act wasn't as great as I thought it would be. It ended up being a rapper named Kim Carson, and I know the Red Hot Chili Peppers are very famous for getting just kind of acts like maybe you don't know about. Well, apparently Kim Carson, a rapper out of Georgia, 24 years of age, he's got a pretty big following, and I think it's all happened on TikTok. He's got 6.5 million listeners or subscribers to his music, so that has to speak to something. But here's the deal. I'm a guy. I'm coming to see you play. You got to show me something, right? And I have to tell you, it was tough. It was tough. He had his following, which was cool to watch. I would say that was the one plus. But I've talked about this with my producer, Michael Kenobi, when we go see a band, and maybe you can see that they're in the beginning of stages of touring, and there's just some elements that are missing that can be worked on. I think there's small things that can help you connect with the crowd, but not only are you playing to your group that already knows you and loves you, but you got the rest of the people that are seeing you maybe for the first time. So how are you going to sell me on your music? And here's the thing, I don't even necessarily have to love rap or anything, but if you have a good stage presence and you bring something that's unique, I'm definitely going to take a listen. And that unfortunately did not happen here. So that's why it's not a 10. I would have given this a 10 just because this was such a great concert. So Red Hot Chili Peppers together on their own, they did it. Little fun fact for you. Did you know the logo was basically drawn up by frontman Anthony Kiedis? Just drew it up, had no meaning whatsoever. A lot of people called it an asterisk, but it's 8-pronged, looks like an asterisk, and it's just been the logo for the Red Hot Chili Peppers since day one. Also want to give kudos on the merch. Big note for bands out there that are selling merch. Do not give us cheap stuff. Don't do it. Don't make us pay $45 for something that is going to rat out and not be a good shirt or a good quality hat in a few months, okay? We want to rep where we have been, the concerts we've been to, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers do it right. I'll say this in 2 ways. Their shirts are done by their own, like they do it in-house. It's got a Red Hot Chili Peppers tag on it, good quality, iconic logo, you can't go wrong. But I was most excited about this, the hat. Look at this script, everybody. It is the same as those old iconic, like football, basketball, baseball hats that had this script on it. I was like, oh man, let me get my hands on that. And how about this? Boom. Yeah, we got the little logo on the side. So I'm going to be repping this, and I would tell bands, yeah, we love the shirts. There's no doubt. But man, I love a good hat. If you can give me a good hat, good quality hat that I can wear, that fits nice, it could be a snapback. I'm okay with that. I like fitted hats as well. I say add that to your repertoire. So kudos to Red Hot Chili Peppers. Did a fantastic job. It was a lot of fun. Again, I was locked in on all 4 members. John Frusciante, to me, outside of Eddie Van Halen, who was the guy, my go-to for so many years growing up, he is the best guitarist. He really is talented, pretty amazing. It's funny, he comes out, he just got like a nice little polo, had some 3/4 shorts on, nothing fancy, but that's his style. Then you've got Anthony Kiedis. Anthony Kiedis, folks, is 60 years of age, and his energy on the stage was amazing. By the way, he had a boot on, which is ironic because the time that we saw him, probably about 10 years before that, he had also broken his foot. So he had an injury, but it didn't matter to him. He went through it. You got Chad Smith, when you look at it, is an epic drummer. He is an epic drummer and really does a good job, of course, wearing his backwards Dodgers hat. And then, of course, there's Flea, right? Flea is a personality within himself. Came out in like a long yellow skirt with purple socks. And why? Well, because he's a big Lakers fan. He even played his Lakers bass at one point during the show. He showed that incredible Flea energy. And another thing that me and my boys noticed that we thought was really cool is that, like, I always talk about bands when they're playing in concert, like how they operate from song to song. And I love ones that just kind of flow song to song. Here, they would take a little time, but what they would do is they would meet by the drum set, and you could tell they were having conversations about what was going to come up next or whatever. And then boom, they would go into the song. And I thought there was something special to that. I said, man, that's like family right there. When you think about it, these guys have so much history with together. For me, this was also nostalgic because the fact of the matter is, will we see the Red Hot Chili Peppers again, right? Like, I hope so. I hope that it continues. But, you know, I know for bands, it gets to a point where you simply have to say, okay, well, maybe it's time that we kind of call it, right? And I hope they don't. But if they do, I think this was a great way to go out. It's not a farewell tour. It's called the Unlimited Love Tour. So I would think that there would be more. This band has done so much for rock and roll, starting in 1984. I remember when I came across them with their second album, which was Mother's Milk, and that leads to my finale, and I get to show you something right now that I'm very excited about. I have held on to this. Now, albeit there are scribbles from my kids when they were young, and that's the only thing that takes away from what I'm going to show you. Go ahead and feast your eyes. Now, this is great. So I worked for the Los Angeles Lakers, and I believe the year was 1991. I think that's when Mother's Milk came out. And my job with the Los Angeles Lakers was to work in public relations, okay? So I would run stats to and from, you know, to broadcasters after quarters and stuff. I would go into the locker room. I would interview players. It was really, really fun. And a lot of the times what would happen is from the stadium at the Great Western Forum is that you would go from the stadium through a hall to the PR office. Well, passing through, you would pass through what would be the VIP lounge. And this is where all the actresses and actors and Hollywood stars would be, and recording artists. And so another part of our job is that we would escort people to their seats that were in the section where the broadcasting would take place. The legendary Chick Hearn and Stu Lance. Like, I got to work alongside them. Well, believe it or not, I got to escort the Red Hot Chili Peppers to their seat. And so I'm sitting there and I get them to their seat. There's casuals can be, they're huge sports fans. They love their LA teams, the Lakers, the Dodgers. I know they're huge, especially Flea and Anthony Kiedis. And I'm thinking to myself, I have got to get myself a photo, an autograph. I've got to do it. And so all I had was this clipboard right here. Now I want you to take a close look. Obviously, as I asked them, they were very happy to sign it. But look at those signatures, okay? So we got Flea down here. I think that's pretty obvious. Look at Anthony Kiedis' signature. I mean, that is amazing. Then we're going to go sideways. We got Chad Smith up here and then John Frusciante, who is with the band right there. But what I love best, I said, hey, guys, can you sign this clipboard? I think you've already figured out what I'm going to tell you. The official, there it is, clipboard, okay? Good stuff right there. So this is pretty awesome. And again, I've held on to it. It's in my garage and just hang it in there. It's pretty cool. And just mad respect to the Red Hot Chili Peppers for the job that they have done in the music industry and why I love music so much. And it's also great to see my boys and how much they love the Red Hot Chili Peppers as well. So there you go, special edition, a little concert review of 9.5 of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, only because of the opening act. Till next time, rock on.